Richard Randall, and welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, in this market, there are many more homes that are not selling. So, what are ways that a home seller can get the most money when they're selling their home?
Well, Richard, a lot of people, the traditional thought process is, can I price it high for a negotiating room? But the problem is right now, the buyers are so well educated on whether or not the home is a good buy because they are looking at everything available in that particular criteria. If they're looking for a home with acreage, they know if it's a good buy or not. If they're looking for a home in a traditional neighborhood, they know if it's a good buy. So if it's at the top of their price point, they just won't go see it. You're going to get instant feedback from the market if you overprice a home. And of course, most home sellers want to get the most money when they sell. But and a lot of people want the certainty that they know that their home is going to sell so they could buy their next one. But the way most people do it is they just price it too high, trying to get the most amount of money. And then it sits on the market week after week, month after month with no sale. So a real simple plan is a way that you could save thousands. A lot of people, if you price a home too high, and then you slowly walk the price down, according to the National Association of Realtors, you're actually going to net less money. You're always better off being priced as the best home on the block, in the price, in condition, at the time it goes on the market. If you don't do that, then you're kind of like another commodity, like going to a car dealership and seeing a sea of cars, like, whatever, maybe I'll pick a green one, right? So it's really, really critical to present the home as the best deal and marketed as the best price. And we know that 100% of buyers now are searching online. That's where most of the elimination is taking place. So the buyers are going, oh, yep, no, yep, no. Based on, you have less than 60 seconds to make an impression with a buyer online. That is your first showing. If you don't pass the test, guess what? They don't want to come look at your home. You're going to be able to tell that instantly by the number of showings. So part of it is pricing and part of it is marketing. And I love looking at bad pictures of houses online because it tells me the agent really didn't make the effort to present the home properly, or they just didn't know how to do it. So I'm showing an example right now of a house that you can see the big kitty litter box. There's a bunch of junk on the counter. You can see the listing agent in the photo in the mirror. The shower curtain's covering half the tub. Did you know if the shower curtain is closed, people assume there's mold back there? Did you know that, Richard?
I did not know that, but it kind of makes sense, quite honestly. If you had nothing to hide, why wouldn't you have it open where
Right.
people?
Why is that? No, how come you're not showing me that? I mean,
Right?
they they are making a decision based on those pictures out of the gate on whether or not they're going to spend their gas money to go look at this house. So most agents approach marketing as what I call post and hope. They stick pictures in the multiple listing service. They have gotten better about doing professional photos, but they don't already um, they don't necessarily know how to stack the photos or how to make the photos look great, how to tell the seller to make the photos look great. They just take it the way it is and hope somebody wants to grab it. So if a buyer is buying a house and they have a house to sell, most agents don't have a solution for that, right? We do. We have a cash offer platform where we can get them offers on their home and solve that problem, which makes your home absolutely more sellable. And we call it our trade up program. It's kind of like the car business, where they'll buy you out of your lease or, they'll do a trade up and put the difference on the loan, things like that. But we have several different companies that actually offer something called a buy now, sell later option. One of them will pay cash for your destination home, which is really incredible, and then give you time to sell your current home. So that's critical for some people because they need their equity out. Maybe they're not sure if they're going to get a loan at their next destination. And they just have to have okay credit and have at least 20% equity in their home. Just so you know, not all real estate agents are the same. It's 1 month of school to be a real estate agent. There is very little training, very little standardization. The good agents are taking the time to try to learn stuff by going to classes or having a good mentor. But at the end of the day, they are not all the same. The programs are not the same. It absolutely is not a generic service. So you want to make sure when you pick an agent when you're selling a home that you've got somebody that helps you win no matter what the situation is. So we're talking about the different ways that you can get your home for the most money. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And it's called The Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday from 11 to 12 on AM 740 KVOR. Plus, we record it. We put it up on my YouTube channel. We put it audio all over these podcasts. So you have access to it no matter where you are. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
We're here talking with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and you can reach Barb at 719-301-3900. Barb, you've highlighted 3 of those 5 keys to maximizing your sales price when you're selling a home. Be the best home on the block, be great at demanding and aggressive with marketing, and also solve buyer problems. But tell us about the last 2.
Well, let's talk about negotiating. Now, I have always found this topic really, really interesting because there's very little training that goes on for negotiating, but the public expects the agents to know how to negotiate. Unfortunately, they just become overpaid messengers. You know, they'll ask the buyer how much they want to offer. They put together the offer, they email it over, and it goes for there. There's no discussion that takes place. And there should be a discussion. There should be conversations that take place between the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. And it's really weird. Like just a few weeks ago, I got a lowball offer from an agent, and they were demanding a lot of things out of the gate. We want a low price. We want you to pay all of our closing costs. And oh, by the way, our insurance company demands that you put on a new roof just because that roof is just over 10 years old. That's the only way we're going to go into contract with you. How does that sound? Does that sound like a win-win negotiation? That's what she said to me, Richard. What do
Well,
you
they
think?
don't teach negotiation in real estate school. They don't teach marketing in real estate school. You've learned it over a couple of decades, but a lot of people just have no clue at all.
They don't. And I feel like they're not trained to really position the home properly. Like I have a home it's under contract now, but before it was under contract, it had a lot of condition issues. It had structural settling. It was a repossessed home. The agent didn't do any homework, not about the market or about the house, even though that was available to the agent. She met the buyer at the house. They walked in the door. They were surprised at the condition. So what's the first thing the agent does? Throws me under the bus, saying I should have told them about that. I'm like, well, I did if you had read what was on your phone or what was in the MLS. And then the buyer's mad because I wasted their time, somebody else's client's time, to go look at this listing. Now, just big picture, the home was priced more than 100,000 below current similar sales. That's a clue. But had the agent actually done any research about what that home might be worth before they showed the house or what it said in the MLS, it could have been a different outcome or a different story. So it's really interesting now that the buyer's expectation is that if it's not perfect when I get there, if it's not a screaming deal, then I'm not happy that I spent my time looking at it. And, I try to be factual as much as possible, but we run into a lot of roadblocks. Like, in that case, I thought, okay, fine, I'll change the description. I'll put in the public description that it has structural settling and it's owned by the VA and they're offering it as is. But the MLS, the local multiple listing service run by the National Association of Realtors, forced me to take those words out of there. You can't say that. I said, why? It's about the condition of the home. They said, because it's financial. And I'm like, what's financial? And they said the word the VA. I said, well, the VA is the owner. So that's the kind of stuff that we're up against. So I found a way to get it online so the buyers would see it. And it had a happy ending. The happy ending was that we did get it under contract, but because I publicly shared the information, I got a lot more buyers calling me, asking questions to find out more information. And for me, that's a good thing. So it's really, really important when you're negotiating to make sure you're asking the right questions, especially if you're working with a buyer. What's important to the seller? A lot of them will just shove an offer and they don't even contact me, and they assume that the seller wants to close in like 2 weeks, which is ridiculous. I actually had one buyer a few months ago say, hey, can your buyer move in a week? In a week. Imagine you've got a house full over 3,000 square feet, Richard. More than that, it's a bigger house than that. And they asked them, can you get out in a week? Because if not, we're not going to make an offer.
What? What?
That's what I'm saying. It's not even logical. So, you got to work with the buyers to tell them what's reasonable and what's not. I don't care about their demands. Go find an empty house, if that's what you're looking for. And then pricing, it's absolutely critical. If you overprice a home, it will repel buyers. But if you price it right, just slightly below similar sales, slightly below similar competition, it will attract buyers, oftentimes more buyers than one. And then you can potentially get multiple offers on the home. It works every time in any kind of market. So that's part of what we help our clients do day in and day out. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com and we will help you get the most money when you sell your home. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. She is your real estate voice. She's with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, the owner proprietor, and you can always reach Barb at 719-301-3900. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the top seller mistakes that can cause a home not to sell, plus Barb's hot new listings. Stay tuned for that.